Throughout my time here on YouTube, I've done several videos about Rachel Hollis and her whole Hollis verse of people. One of those people is her ex-husband, Dave Hollis, who recently passed away. I'm going to be briefly touching on his passing and the domino effect of that. So stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back if you've been around here a while. I'm Kendra, this is 𝐒𝐿𝐴 𝐁𝐞 This is where I share my weight loss journey with you. Hopefully I can help you out along the way if you're on a weight loss journey. Also, I do commentary on a variety of topics including health, wellness, fitness, weight loss, and anything you send to me. So send me some stuff I'd love to discuss. And also, you'll learn about me along the way. So if that stuff sounds good to you, then make sure you are subscribed to my channel. Okay, guys, so if you have not been on the web lately, or you're not subscribed to like some online news magazine, you may have not have heard or known about the passing of Dave Hollis, who is Rachel Hollis's ex-husband. And if you don't know who Rachel Hollis is, she's like a self-help guru type motivational speaker. She currently has like a podcast, and she also like has videos on YouTube and all of that good stuff. I also went to one of her shows back in the day. It was hilarious. So if you have not checked out that video, make sure you check it out. So he did pass away very recently. He leaves behind children, and he once was dating Heidi Powell, and I've done several videos on her, so check those out as well if you have not. And they were actually broken up at the time of his passing. But the reason why I wanted to talk about him and his situation was just because under the circumstances in which he passed away. And I don't want to get too deep into it because this video is not about really him or the circumstances in which he passed away. It's more about influencer ethics. So we're going to talk about that. So Dave Hollis recently passed away. At the time, everyone was speculating what was his cause of death because he was a pretty young guy in his 40s. He had even recently been in like a fitness competition, bodybuilding type show. So from the outside, he looked to be fairly healthy. And then when he passed away, everyone was speculating that he had heart troubles. And that's not something that he had shared publicly. So everyone was kind of surprised, and people just assumed, oh, it was a heart issue, and it just kind of like faded away kind of to some people. But now things have come out as to he's passed away due to substances that were found in his system. So it was an overdose of substances, and there was a fatal dose of substances in his system. And he suffered with alcoholism, and he actually had been to rehab, and he talked about that, but he never talked about him relapsing or anything of that nature. And I am not one to judge someone for their alcohol use because alcoholism runs rampant in my family, and it is something that I've seen firsthand people struggle with, and I've seen the effects that alcoholism have. So I am not going to judge anyone or talk bad about anyone because they suffer with those issues. The way that I feel is though we all struggle with something. It may not be alcoholism, it may not be substance use, it may not even be destructive things in our life. As you guys know, my issue is food, and that continues to be an issue, and it will, I think, always be an issue. But we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Dave Hollis. And I am also not the one to talk about anyone with a substance use issue. That is not the point of this video, and I am not the one to pass judgment or harshly criticize anyone. I try not to. I always try to take issues or people or things with try to be middle of the road. And I try to look at things objectively. Not necessarily all things, but this particular thing, I don't have any necessary comments about any of that. It is just very unfortunate, the circumstances in which he passed away with. And it leads me to the thinking of, it's unfortunate that he had to pass away with this big secret. And this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the lives of influencers. And so I can confidently say that I would call Dave Hollis an influencer. And the reason why I would call him an influencer is because he built a brand on social media. He would be considered a public figure. He was often selling things to the public, and he appeared to the public in a certain way. I mean, he wrote a book, So I would definitely consider him an influencer. And influencers are real people with real lives, real problems, real emotions. And I believe that he showed those problems and showed those emotions when he talked about his alcoholism and going to rehab, and even him and Rachel Hollis divorcing. He was able to do that. And the way that he built his brand, coinciding with Rachel Hollis's brand, it was always about being real, relatable, unfiltered, truthful. I am someone who is just like you. I have problems just like you. I have struggles just like you. And this is what a lot of influencers do. And they do this through the vlogs that they make, through the products that they sell you, through the sponsorships that they take, through every calculated move, every post that they have. It is something to grab your attention, something that you can relate to, something that you can envision in your mind that, oh, I like this person, or they're cool, or they could be my friend, or I can relate to them, or, oh my gosh, I could really use this product. This is why I'm buying it. Or they can help me out so much because they've been through the same things that I've been through. And this is what influencers want to do. And I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. I don't really think it is. And I say that because that is what I do as well. I'm on a weight loss journey. I want to talk to other people who are on a weight loss journey. I want to influence them to improve their health. I want to talk about my struggles to maybe help somebody else out who is struggling. At this point, I am not, selling anything or anything like that, but that's not to say that I won't ever. And I think that people build their brands off of this whole thing, right? And nothing is wrong with that inherently. But I think the problem arises when people do that and you only get part of them. And I'll explain that. And when I say you only get part of them, I'm saying that they are hiding major things in their lives, especially things that would impact their brand or impact how you feel about them or impact their audience or impact whatever they're selling to you. Case in point, Rachel and Dave Hollis were married at one point in time, and they were selling marriage retreat, blah, 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 whatever they were selling. And it was expensive. And they talked about their marriage and helping others in their marriage and this and that and that and this. They profited off of their marriage and the advice that they gave other married people. But their marriage was in shambles. And they eventually got divorced. That is what I'm talking about. And this is also what I'm talking about. All of the possible inspiration that Dave Hollis gave people, perhaps, on his journey with alcoholism. He never talked about the substance use. And I'm just assuming that this wasn't his first time doing those things. It could have been his first time. I don't know. But he never talked about, that. And I think that that is something that is very, very rampant in Hollywood, influencer, public figure, celebrity culture. And I'm not saying, that's just a good thing or we should normalize it or you should just accept it is the way it is. But I would have liked, if I was a follower of his, to know more about that. and the struggles and the problems and the processes. This makes people feel as though they were deceived. It makes people feel as though he wasn't real with them. And this is a lot of times how influencers and people lose their audience, just because they build their fan base on one thing and then they turn around and then they do something else. And then we as an audience are questioning ourselves like, how did I ever fall for that? I'm so stupid, blah, 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 blah. But do not blame yourself. If you've ever followed a Rachel Hollis, or you've ever followed a Dave Hollis, or you've ever followed a Heidi Powell, and now you're feeling stupid, now you're feeling duped, now you're feeling ashamed, don't feel that way, because these people a lot of times work with professionals who build their brands, who tell them what to say. They know how to say it. They know when to post. They know what to post. They're very calculated in their moves. And to them, it's just a matter of business. But to you, it's a little bit more personal. And I think this is something that we should all take into account when we're thinking about who we follow and who we listen to and what we're purchasing. Because a lot of times these people are not worth your dollars. They're not worth your time. And I'm not saying everybody. I mean, I'm worth your time. I hope you're here, so I'm worth your time. But a lot of times when people get a huge following, they a lot of times forget about where they came from, and they're a lot less humble. They feel like people are disposable, and we've seen it over and over and over again, the way that they act, the things that they do. And I just wish that influencers and people on the internet could be a little bit more real and a little bit more authentic. And you might say, hey, Kendra, they don't owe people anything. No, they don't. You're absolutely correct. And then I say to you, how would they make their money, or how would they have their following if these people weren't buying? They weren't tuning in. They weren't pressing the like button. They weren't sharing things, you know? Do influencers really owe their audience anything? What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your opinions down below. And this is something that we as consumers struggle with, especially in the health and wellness and weight loss space. That is something that I want to continue to talk about, and I want to continue to discuss, because for many, many years, I have been duped. For many, many years, I have been fooled. I have been tricked. I have been trying fad diets and starvation diets and things that weren't the healthiest or best for me, and things that didn't work and weren't sustainable for the long term. And I want to continue to bring awareness to that, because it's so important for people to hear the realness and how things are really done. And no, you don't have to tell everybody every little single detail of your life. But once you start talking about those personal things and sharing those things, you open the floodgates for people to start asking questions and for people to start expecting more. And this is what I want to get into with Heidi Powell and also Rachel Hollis. So this news has come out about the passing of Dave Hollis and the cause of his untimely. And we have not heard anything from Rachel's side or Heidi's side. And it makes me wonder, why not? The only thing that I can speculate is they're partially embarrassed, perhaps. They feel like they might say the wrong thing. They feel like their brand might be affected. But these are the people that come across as being so real and so raw and so truthful and so authentic. And they care about their audience so much. But something as serious as your ex-boyfriend, your ex-husband's passing from substances, you're quiet. You have nothing to say. You don't want to answer any questions. And I understand. People are so deserving of their privacy. They're so deserving of a boundary in their personal relationships and in their personal lives. But once again, you claim to be this type of person, and you have an audience that you claim to love. They just want to hear from you and how you're doing and what you're feeling and what you're thinking at this point in time. But I feel as though they don't want to say anything because they don't want to be implicated in anything regarding his passing when it comes down to substances. I've never been an influencer, a public figure. I've never had anyone close to me pass away, so I can't say with 100% certainty of what I would do in the situation. But as it stands now, thinking about all the important people in my life, if my husband passed away under those circumstances, and as I come to you now, someone who shares their life on the internet, not as much as Heidi and Rachel, but I do share my life on the internet, and that was made public, I would definitely talk to my audience and I would be truthful with them. Maybe not as open as they would like to be, but I would also provide resources to people and families who may be suffering from substance use, or they may be suffering the effects of people that they love or that are close to that have these things going on. That's the least we can do. Or get a message of, I'm trying to heal right now. Please respect my privacy, but I do want to give out these resources to anyone who is struggling. I appreciate your kindness, your support in this moment of time, whatever. But we get nothing. And sometimes it makes me think that these influencers are so fake, that people are truly disposable, that even someone in their life that they cared a lot about at one point in time, I mean, somebody who has children, you know, with the person that passed away, that they, now that they're gone, they can't even speak on their behalf. And I understand. Things happen in marriages, things happen in relationships where you may split apart and not see eye to eye, not be getting along. But Rachel, that's the father of your children. Heidi, you claim to be, that's your best friend, you know? When he first passed away, you were talking so great about him and saying how so hard it was, and I'm sure it was hard. But now that we have the cause of his passing, we hear nothing. And so I just want to continue talking about influencers, influencer culture. And I just want to talk about the implications of people on the internet and you as an audience. People are not one-dimensional, you know? They carry a lot of different facets about them. And the people that you see and that you're used to and that you've grown to love, that might not be the real person. So I hope you guys stay safe out there. I hope I wasn't too critical, but I gotta talk about this stuff, okay? I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, check and see, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I would love to have you here, and you will know every time I post a video. Make sure you continue to spread kindness in a world full of hate. I will see you on the next time. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Bye-bye.